And good Thursday afternoon, everyone. And another conversation is up, and want to thank everybody. Like I said in the message, we finally hit number one in overall, not indie, but overall in performing arts. So we are thankful for all of you who listen to us on Good Pods. That really made our day. It was shocking, actually, because I know that those two that were above us are very high listened to. So thank you all for doing that. And today we are here with USA Today bestseller and Charles, and want to welcome you to our show today.
Hi, thank you for having me, and congratulations. That's amazing. That's wonderful.
Thank you very much. And we're here to talk about your books, and I think one of them is Trussell's. I'm traveling. I'm having brain waves here.
It's a tongue twister. Twisty tortoise tussles. It's meant to make you curse, I think, when you finish saying it, but you kind of remember it then.
Well, yeah, this is true. Can you tell us a little bit about these books? Because I think this is number 6, if I recall.
It is the 6th book in the series. It's the Jackrabbit Junction Mystery Series, and I have a lot of fun with titles, as you can tell. The first of the series is Dance of the Winnebagos, and it starts with Claire Morgan coming to southeastern Arizona with her grandfather. She's in her mid-30s, so she's not a young kid. And she's coming with her grandfather because him and his Army vet buddies are there to find some women. They're tired of being old alone. They want to hook up with some dames, and they are all bringing their RVs down to an RV park called the Dancing Winnebago RV Park, and they're there to find wives. And the last thing they want there with them is a 30-plus-year-old female that's there to babysit in their eyes or watch over them. So they let it all go. They don't treat her any different than if she's one of the guys. She smokes cigars with them. She plays cards. She deals with one of them who likes chili con carne for breakfast, right out of the can type of stuff. And she takes it all in stride. But the thing about Claire, she's curious. She's always been kind of the one that has been taking tons of different college classes, can't figure out what she wants to do, never got a degree, has had tons of different jobs, and she's a handy woman. She's always helped her grandfather, who's a contractor. So she's always worked on build sites, so she knows how to, use a hammer, use tools, and do all that good stuff. So she ends up taking a part-time job at the Dancing Winnebagos RV Park as the handy woman. And that's kind of how it all gets started. Turns out this park was owned previously by Joe Martino, who had a front of an antique store, but behind the scenes was really a thief. He was a thief of thieves. He would move stolen goods from one place to another, but he would steal a little off the top and hide it in the desert around his RV park and the mines he owned. And he took from some really bad guys and kept stuff, and that was his retirement. Unfortunately, he keeled over long before retirement time and left this park and all these hidden treasures there with a wife that's a wonderful woman who he'd married a year or two before and has a teenage daughter, and they're sinking in debt because of all his hospital bills. And here comes Claire and her grandfather, and they kind of starts the story. And Claire finds a leg bone in the desert near the park, and wonders, what's this? This is a human femur. And that kind of gets the mysteries going for all this. Then in book 2, here comes Claire's younger sister, Kate, who is a teacher that doesn't want to be a teacher. And she's just crazy, known as Crazy Kate. So she comes down because her sister's there and her grandfather and ends up staying, but they bring the mother. And Claire's mother and Kate's mother is a real pain in the keister. And that's putting it nicely. And she doesn't want her dad, of course, to get married to anybody. So she's really, bucking him, having some romance. And so there's the family dynamics really getting going. And by book 3, the oldest sister, Veronica, comes down as well. And her nickname's Ronnie. Only she comes kind of weird. She's got a new hairdo, recently divorced, colored contacts, and come to find out, she's got some hitmen following her thanks to her ex-husband, who's now in prison for laundering money for some high-end crooks. And so she's kind of keeping her head low and bringing trouble with her. So put that all together, mix it up with a county sheriff who the oldest sister ends up kind of getting involved with. And of course, the Morgan sisters end up in jail part of the time, sometimes voluntarily going in just to protect themselves, they say. And here you get the county sheriff there that's fallen for the oldest sister. And it's just a big mess of family problems, criminals coming in, these thieves wanting their money or whatever was stolen from them, looking to kill if that's what it takes. So it's a wild and crazy time down in the desert, at the RV park and the nearby the Shaft, which is a bar and grill. And so that's kind of the setup for the whole series. I think of it as Treasure Island mixed with a little bit of, kind of archaeology fun. It's not a lot of archaeology, but we are finding stuff, here and there, digging places. So it's just, it's a mystery with a lot of humor, some suspense, romance is mixed throughout, and just a good mixed genre fun time.
Oh, that definitely got a lot to it, because when you were describing it, and it's like I can see all that, but I can actually picture with it like a Thelma and Louise with a +1 to it.
Definitely. They're the Morgan sisters is what we call them, the Morgan sisters, and they are wild and crazy and full of gumption, and they can take a hit and they can give one back. So it's a lot of great times, and there's so much fun with the older guys, the Army vets that are there, kind of like uncles of their grandfather, but like great uncles to them, and they really care for them too. And there's a lot of fun mixed generational things that go on, and working together, and so I have a great time in the desert with these guys.
Now, being a USA Today bestseller, and I know a lot of authors, when they get awards, get excited. When you found out, how did you react to all that?
I wanted to, so here's the story. I found out a year and a half after I had hit the charts.
Oh,
because
wow.
because I'm a doofus, apparently. So what happened was, when you're writing book after book and you're working and you're building these worlds, you're focused on, okay, we released this book, we're doing some promo, we're pushing this, we're running ads, we're doing different things like that. But at the same time, you're on the next book and working on that and going forth. And I have 5 different ongoing series. So I don't have a lot of time that I check out, the lists or anything like that. So I didn't know I'd hit the list. I mean, we did have a big, several big sales months, and I thought, wow, that was great. That ad, we'd had really helped, and things were great. But I moved on to, the next book or 2 by then. And I put one of my books up for a BookBub ad. And they said, USA Today bestselling author Ann Charles, and then they went on to describe the book. And I said, I saw it when it went live, when the ad went out, and I thought, oops, they messed that up. Should I tell them? You don't want to. BookBub is kind of a god in the ad department. You don't want to make them mad and say, hey, you screwed up or anything like that. So I just said, I talked to a friend. Should I tell them? She's like, just leave it. They'll find it next time and just let it go. And I said, well, I feel bad about, claiming something that I'm not. She goes, it's them. There's nothing you can do. The ad's out. So I said, okay. 3 months later, I get another BookBub ad. Once again, we have USA Today bestselling author. And I'm like, oh man, I got to say something. I can't do that. I can't have this. It's dishonest. I don't like this. So I first, though, I talked to a longtime friend who does pay attention to the list. And I said, what is your suggestion on how I handle this, contacting them, so I don't come off as a annoying know-it-all author. And she said, well, let me check just to see. Let me check those lists. And so she did, and she pulled it up from a year and a half and said, you hit the list. Look it right here. And I was like, oh my gosh, what an idiot. I could have been advertising and promoting with USA Today all this time and helping me get more ads and, build in the marketing front. But I was too busy just doing my thing and writing and keep it going. So when I found out, it was more like a smack to the head, go, oh, what are you doing? Come on, pay attention. But I mean, that's just a sample, as you know, what the indie, author life is like. You're busy, you're running a business and 10 other things, and you got a family or whatever. So it was a wonderful, funny experience, a learning thing to find out in the end.
So basically, authors that are out there, pay attention to all your surroundings, not just.
Yes. So that you don't have BookBub informing you that you made the list a year and some later. So kudos to BookBub for doing research on me that I didn't do, because I dropped the ball on that one.
Now, what would you say is your biggest inspiration to keep you going as a writer?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, I love good stories, period. I'm a huge movie fan of all kinds of different, so many things, the Marvel world, the DC world, all those things. And I love series. I love how they give little hints at the end. And, oh, this is going to be in the future when here comes this character. I love that kind of stuff. I love things they bring, like The Predator. I just, caught the newest Prey, I think it's called. And that was a lot of fun. I love stories. I love to do it. Now, I used to read a long time ago, and I didn't ever plan on being a writer, but I didn't like the ending of some books. And I thought, well, if you don't like it, write your own book and write your own ending. And that's kind of how it got started, and from there it grew of the love of telling a fun story. And once you get into those characters, and any author, who's written wonderful, fun characters know there is a rush when you're writing, and you write a good scene and you write something that you feel very positive about. It's really uplifting, and it can make you want to keep going. And then as the readers came along and started joining me in the stories and loving them, that's a huge inspiration. I want to write books that make people laugh, make people smile, give them something to live for and have fun with. Not that, I'm going to change your world. I'm not. But what I do hope to do is give you some laughs throughout your day so that you can wake up another morning and face the sun again, and keep going. And Twisty Tortoise Tussles is a really good example. And I won't go into it too deep because it really it's still too fresh and it makes me tear up, and we don't want me to be a whiny mess on your show. But this book, I was in the dumps earlier this year and struggling to get past the first couple chapters. And I had a longtime fan who's in her late 80s, turned 90 this year, right? And found out she had lung cancer and wasn't going to make it much through the year. And she wanted to know if I had anything else she could read. And I said, and the Morgan sisters were her favorite. So I said, no, but I will. And you're going to read first draft if you're willing. And she was. And so I would write chapter by chapter and send them to her in the mail and keep going back and forth to give her a story. So it turned out to be a fun, wonderful story, because I often thought of her when I was writing and trying to make her laugh, which helped me, inspired me to keep putting those words on the page and keep going. So a lot of times I think it's the readers that push me as much as anything. I want to keep giving them something to laugh about.
That would definitely be a tearjerker of a story there.
Yeah, it was. That's why I said I can only touch on it. I can't go too deep, or I'll be a bawling mess.
I can see why completely.
Yeah.
Now, if people wanted to be a writer, what words of wisdom would you give them to either strive or to continue?
Well, the biggest thing I've learned, and it's not like new news, is how important perseverance is, how important it is to keep going forward, one step after another. Even though you'll get knocked down, you'll get smacked around, reviews hurt, you get some nasty critics, you get all kinds of stuff. You'll have problems with uploading files, problems with technology, and then the dang market keeps shifting. And now I have to learn TikTok. Come on, I've got Instagram down. I'm doing Twitter. I've got Facebook. Now you want me to learn another one? And what are NFTs? Why are NFTs coming at us now? So it's a constant shifting market that you have to adjust to sell to. And that's hard. So that alone, I think, takes perseverance in gallons to keep going and trying, because we really just want to write books. I really just want to sit and have a good time and write stories, but that's only a part of this whole thing. And being willing to experiment with things, and not, if you have a failure, if you try something and it goes south, just try something else and write it off as, hey, I tried that, it didn't work, let's do something else. Don't take it so personal. If someone doesn't love this particular book, it doesn't mean you give up. You try again. You either shift and experiment with some new type of plot line, or just keep going. So whatever you have to do to persevere, keep going, because it's really a long game. It's not get rich quick scheme. I really wish it was, because it's been 15 plus years of trying this, but it's really not. It's the long game. And sometimes that's comforting, just keep going, just keep building.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And yes, I'm just learning TikTok myself. So
it's fun to watch. Yeah. And I just don't know if I'm entertaining enough to enter that dance floor,
My entertainment only goes so far on stuff like that. I don't think they're going to see me dancing outside a car or anything.
I could slip on the ice for you. That would work. That's something I do easily. So we can get that on tape.
Well, we don't have much ice here in Houston.
That's true. Although your winters are getting crazy cold sometimes. So
just once. Usually it's only 2 to 3 days, but I think our last one was a little bit harder than anybody had expected.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, where can people find you if they want to look you up?
So the easiest place is my website, which is anncharles.com. And there's no E, it's just ANNCharles.com. You can go there to find all the different books and links to the books to some of the main, retailers where I'm out there. You can also go and sign up for the newsletter, or go back into my blog, and I put past newsletters, any book signing information, all that kind of stuff I use is the blog. I'm not a good blogger, so there's not like me, telling anything there about any journeys or anything in life, but I do try to keep news there, kind of a newsreel of what's going on. So that's really the best place to start. And then you can find me on all kinds of online places, even Snapchat lately, which I don't do hardly anything except make funny pictures with my cats. I've had people lately writing to me on Snapchat. So I'm writing back just private messages, kind of hanging out with them. So I'm even there. I try to be everywhere I can when I'm not writing or working the business on some way or the other. But I do try to get back to people if they email me too. Sometimes it takes me a while, but I do get back with you eventually.
Well, first, I want to say thank you for joining our show today.
Well, thank you for having me. This has been fun.
Definitely. And everybody, our next show, I will be at Anime Houston Saturday and Sunday. Media, taking pictures. Of course, y'all know about the challenge between us and Mombirella, so we're going to be working some major cosplay pictures, so make sure to join in on that. But our next show will be Tuesday. And everyone, until next show,